Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, I almost started rapping. I almost started freestyle on this. What's up, man? It's your boy Leo G. It's another edition of the ATL 3-Style Live Podcast. I am Leo G. And out there to the south side is my boy Banks. What's going on over there, boy?
Leo G, Leo, how you feeling, brother? How you feeling?
Hey man, I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good. Gonna talk about some ATL sports from a fan perspective. That's what we do. I guess today we're going to talk about the whole state in general, possibly, man, because it was a good weekend if you were a Georgia or Atlanta fan. We're going to get into it here in just a minute. We missing one. Obviously, Derek O, man. Shout out to our boy Derek O, man. He couldn't join us today, but he'll definitely probably jump back on here at a later date. But, Banks, before we get into it, let's go ahead and talk about our boy out there on the east side, man, with Eastland's Woodworking, man.
Yes, sir. Holla at my boy Phil with Eastland Woodworking Company. If you need anything like some woodwork done, an ashtray, a coaster, a plaque on the wall, anything that you want personalized, hit at your boy at this QR code, Eastland Woodworking Company. You can see an example like this. You can have your favorite team or your initial. You can do anything you want to do. Just hit up my boy Phil and tell him we sent you.
That's what's up, man. Those are just some examples, man, that we put up there on the screen, man. Banks with the coasters. He also does ashtrays, whatever, man. Birthdays, bar mitzvahs, weddings. You name it, he got you, man. So just hit him up over there on the east side, man, with Eastland's Woodworking. Also, man, got to shout out our boy Bachi with BEZ. I know we hadn't been hitting him up in a while. I got to get at him, man, to get some more product, man, and get that through, man. So hit our boy up, BEZ. I'll put that link in the comments like I have been doing as well. Hey, like, you know, for everybody that's has been listening to us and watching this, man, y'all already know, man, we always rep, like Banks said, smile if you wear red and black. You see them pearly whites, y'all know what it is, man. Red and black all day, every day, man. It was, a Georgia thing and a Falcons thing, an Atlanta Dream thing, and Georgia Southern, Kennesaw State, man. Like the whole state of Georgia was like winning on this past weekend.
Mercer, Georgia State, Georgia Southern, Kennesaw State. Anything with a Georgia
North,
in it.
North Avenue Trade School.
Listen,
North
let me tell
Avenue
you
Trade
something.
School won.
Even my high school won. Shout out to Mays High School beating Pace Academy. Listen, we all winners this past weekend, okay? I don't know. Maybe it was just, the planets aligned, I guess. I have no idea, but it was a good weekend if you're in the state of Georgia.
That's right, man. Good sports weekend for us, man. Shout out to the Dream as they took the first game of their playoff series with Indiana. I think they got another one tonight, if I'm not mistaken. As we record this show, y'all will be seeing it tomorrow. But as we record tonight, I think the Dream has another playoff game coming up, man. So big shout out to them. Let's get into it, Banks, man. Let's talk about it, man. Let's go ahead and talk about a couple of these big wins, man, that happened on this past weekend, man. First one I want to get into a little bit, man, UGA versus Tennessee. Listen, let me tell y'all something, man. I'm going to tell all of y'all haters out there that had the memes locked and loaded, ready to go, and was hitting me up. You know who you are. I'm not going to call you out. But, man, my phone was, first quarter, man, what's going on, man? I was like, hey, man, it's 4 quarters to a game, man. You know what I'm saying? 4 quarters to a game, Banks. This thing ain't changed, man. You can't win a game in 1 quarter. And, man, oh, man, them Bulldogs, man, they come back to beat the Vols in overtime, 44-41. This was a tough one for the Dogs, though, man, because they were down 21-7, man, in a hostile environment up there in Tennessee, man. And it did not look too good early, right, Banks?
No, it did not. Tennessee came out the tunnel smoking. I mean, they were on this emotional drive. Everybody in the crowd wearing their orange and white with the checkerboard pattern, supposed to be intimidating, I guess. I guess. But they did their best. They came out guns a blazing, and with no resistance, they were just moving the ball. After the emotion kind of just settled down, Georgia, did their thing. So I look at it like this. If you feel like this you got to be a championship against the Georgia Bulldogs, it ain't gonna rattle us. Okay, listen here.
No. They're built for this. They're built for this, man. We talk about this all the time, Banks. They are built for this.
would seem like we're everyone's championship lately. Seem like it's a big deal when you beat Georgia all of a sudden. Everybody wants to see Georgia go down. And I think it's flattering. That it probably means you're doing something right. So hey, that's all I got to say
Hey,
about that.
I mean, like I said, Georgia has, of lately here of recent, has become one of the teams, like you said, to beat, man. It's not a secret. They come to play year in and year out. They have over the last decade here, man. Obviously with Kirby under the helm, and we'll talk about him here in just a second. But Banks, listen, let me tell you something, man. Tennessee has been trying to get over this hump with Georgia, man, because in the that's no longer the SEC East and West anymore. It's just the straight up SEC. But for the longest time, man, since you go back to 2016 was the last time that the Vols beat Georgia. That's been a long time. We're almost talking about a decade here. A lot has passed since the last time the Vols have beaten the Dogs. And Josh Heupel, since he's been there at Tennessee, has, this was a playoff team. They went to the playoffs. Obviously, they've turned over a new leaf. I don't think that, Tennessee's been relevant since the Philip Farmer days. I know, and they used to give Georgia hell back then. I had nightmares about Peyton Manning and T. Martin and Jamal Lewis. They had some great teams up there in Tennessee, but as of recent, we've had their number. But they got, like you said, they came out guns a-blazing, Banks, man. To their credit, man, they were ready, they were prepared. But like I said, this thing with Kirby and these guys at Georgia, man, it's just a different animal. It's just a different monster. Because like you said, we talked about this earlier, Banks, off air, is like, how many times have you seen other teams like collapse under this pressure, under that environment? 21-7 in a hostile environment up there. And I've been to Neyland Stadium. Let me tell you, they're going to rocky top the hell out of you. It's going to be 110,000 rabid fans right there on the river. It's a crazy environment to play. Probably one of the most hostile environments in all of college football. But Georgia is built for this, man. It says something to Kirby and how he can coach these boys and really just get them in the mindset to do what it is they need to do. Not rattled, not shaking, just relax, stay in this thing, man. And we're going to see it all the way through. And that's what they end up doing, right, Banks?
Absolutely. And I want to also give an example of what um, a Kirby Smart led team, okay? Not just this Tennessee game. Leo, what's up, Derico? How you feeling, brother? If you remember back when we played Alabama last season, we were getting, ran out the stadium, bro. We were getting our butts kicked. Lo and behold, albeit we didn't win the game, but we were making the game out of it. We took the lead. Listen, anytime you are down and you're being coached by Kirby Smart, 9 times out of 10, you're going to probably end up tying the game or taking the lead. You're not going to give up. The Rose Bowl against Oklahoma, if you remember, we was going up against Baker Mayfield. We were getting our butts kicked. All of a sudden, you look up, the game is tied. Now, you look up, we're in overtime. Oh, guess what? Georgia won. Listen, this is a Kirby Smart led team, okay? They do not give up, no matter who you are, whatever field you're playing on. Hey, it's that you got to take pride in that. You have to take pride in that.
Very, very resilient bunch under Kirby, man. Derico, welcome into the show. Just talking to Banks about this monumental win, because it was a big win for Georgia, man, going into that hostile environment up there in Knoxville. They were able to pull this off in overtime, 44-41. And one thing I'm gonna say to you, Banks, and I'm gonna give it over to Derico, and he'll let us know how he felt about it, man. You can start to see the turn. You can start to see it almost. You know what I'm saying? Tennessee goes up 21-7. Georgia said, okay, we took your best punches and let's go. And they turned it into a game, and you saw them start to put drives together. You saw them do some very good things. And we'll talk about what that kid from Tiger, Georgia did to solidify himself, in my opinion, as a true leader of this team. Derico, your thoughts on watching UGA as they beat the Vols up there in Knoxville 44-41?
So, we had a whole conversation. A couple of my guys came over. So we was watching the game, and Tennessee went straight down the field, and the stadium was on fire. And I said, wow, this looked eerily similar to past games where Tennessee jumped out and thought that they was going to open a can of whoop ass, and it always end up that Georgia come back and snatch their neck from them from behind. So for me, it was a good game to watch. The only thing I said was why I felt like I was watching the Atlanta Falcons playing, because normally I don't get that anxiety when I'm watching Georgia play. So that was like I felt that, but at the same time, I felt good about their chance to come back and win. And like you were saying, Leo, you can feel the shift in how the game was starting to move, and that girl momentum starting to turn toward Georgia. I just sat there and I just felt like after I saw a little buddy face that was about to kick that ball, he did not look confident at all. And I said to myself, the old Georgia saying, before he even kicked it, pressure bust pipes.
It was the biggest kick. It was the biggest kick in Tennessee at the moment. They had a lot on the line, and he felt all of that. It didn't help the fact that they got that false start. They're pushing back just a little bit for you to think about it. So hey, listen, that's not the first time we've seen a missed kick. I feel like, and I'm a Georgia fan. If you're going to beat us, you got to stay on us and keep doing what you're doing. Put your foot on our necks. That's the only way you're going to beat us. You're not going to just give us chance after chance, keep keeping that door cracked, because we're going to kick it in and we're going to embarrass you and break your hearts. And I mean,
Listen,
I'm not saying it being arrogant, but I've seen it too many times. Too many teams have done that. They left the door open and Georgia end up winning.
and listen, and that's all attributed to what Kirby does and the mentality that they have up there in Athens. Listen, man, this is, far too often we talk about, the players, but oftentimes the players take on the persona of their coaches. And Kirby has instilled in these guys. This is something that everybody that goes to Georgia now under Kirby Smart has bought into. Like you said, we go back to the Rose Bowl. We go back to this game. We go back to the Alabama game. These are different kids that have moved through this program, but it's the same mentality. We keep going out there. We make the adjustments. We don't panic, because they didn't. And I'm going to talk about this kid, Gunner Stockton, here from Tiger, Georgia, man. Listen, I'm going to say something about this kid, and I got it all wrong. I felt like he was a favorite up there. I felt like he waited his turn, and Kirby was like, okay, hey, you know what? We got to get this kid a shot. We heard the story about when Carson Beck went out and how all the guys rallied around him when he came into that game last year. And I was like, okay, well, this is the next guy up. I don't know. Maybe there'll be some type of competition in the spring with him and Ryan, the other kid that they had up there. But he won his job fair and square. And now I see why. 23 of 31 for 304 and 2 TDs. And in my opinion, the greatest throw I've seen from a Georgia quarterback in a long time was that 4th and 6 where he had to put it in there to keep that drive alive. Man, I think this kid is now the true leader of this team. And I think if we're going to get into the playoffs, man, it's going to be on Gunner Stockton, man. And I love what I saw, the moxie from this kid. Derek, when you agree, man, I think this kid in big situations and pressure moments is going to continue to show up for this Georgia team, man.
Hey, I agree with you 90% of what you just said. The only 10% that I'm going to disagree on is you can tell that his height keeps him from making certain throws because he can't see over the offensive line. And that was something that we pointed out a couple of times, several times on the game Saturday, that you can absolutely tell that is going to be an issue if he has to stay in the pocket and throw in a tight window across the middle of the field. And I don't know if he's going to be able to do that, because that's where our tight ends need to be getting the ball. And that's probably why you don't see them getting a lot of catches, because of that particular deficiency. But other than that, yes, I like Gunner. He's going to do what we need him to do. Just don't turn the ball over, period.
Oh, absolutely, man. Banks, your thoughts on Gunner Stockton, man. No, Derek, you can't, so he this is what God gave him, man. I mean, hey, some guys find a way, a workaround around that. I'm pretty sure that, everybody knows that now, and Gunner knows that he's his size. He'll have to try to figure this thing out. And, I hate to say this, man, but no beef with Bobo on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? He kind of stuck to it, called a good plan. They went up top. They went long. They did some things that we wanted to see them do. Like, why are they not doing this when Carson Beck was here? But they did it on Saturday when they were able to get the job done, man. Your thoughts on Gunner, Banks?
It's funny you should mention that 4th and 6 throw. It seemed like now that is the highlight of his legacy so far. At UGA, everyone reverts back to that. Did you see that throw though? That throw, it was perfect, right in the bread basket. That's a hell of a throw. You know, that's the kind of things, if you got moments like that people remember you by, it goes a long way. And then not to mention you followed up with a nice play for that 2-point conversion to tie it up. So listen, a lot of folks had their reservation for Gunnar Stockton, and I kind of did too. Going back from last year when we had Carson Beck. Um, Now I realize what he is. He's a guy. He's not intimidated by the moment. It's kind of like that. I'm not going to compare him to Stetson Bennett, but I will say it's the same situation where I'm this kid from this small town trying to live my dream, and you're not going to tell me I can't do it. Kind of syndrome. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm buying into it. Definitely buying into it.
Man, absolutely, man. Like I said, like what I saw, man. You never can count. Of course, we always talk about our Falcons PTSD, but never with a Kirby coach team do you feel that Derek said for just a moment he felt it just a minute, but it kind of, once Kirby gets them guys settled down. I mean, I think last year I got a little bit of PTSD watching that us play the North Avenue Trade School down there, going into how many overtimes we went into. Now I got a little nervous in that one, but I think that hey man, Kirby has proven time and time again that he'll have his teams ready and prepared, man. So next, Georgia has a bye. They're gonna be moving into playing Alabama. They're coming into town up there in Athens, so they'll play them in a couple of weeks here, man. But much respect to Georgia and what they were able to accomplish and do up there in Tennessee, because it was a tall task, man. Tennessee ranked team. Josh Heupel has some guys, they switched the quarterback out. So, I think we'll see Tennessee hang around, man. Now we got 12 teams in this playoff. I think that they're gonna make a push to try to maybe, get in there. I mean, that's a tough team they just played in Georgia, and I think that they found out that they can hang and play with some tough teams. So we'll see how that all goes down as we go on here. Before we move on to the next topic, Banks.
Before we move on, just wanted to give a shout out. I don't care if I'm being petty, but hi Florida Gators fans, how y'all doing?
How Florida
how you feeling? How you feeling? I'm not trying to rub salt in the wound. I'm just asking you how you feeling. That's all.
You got to rub salt. You can pour some bleach on it. Go ahead and sit in the spot.
Hey, boy, y'all Florida catching strays. Boy, it is what it is, man. Obviously, we're not gonna talk about that. If you know, Florida catching strays. All right, fellas, let's move on here, man. Let's talk about the Falcons. Let's talk about the Falcons and the Vikings. Listen here, before we get into the nuts and bolts of the game, I want to talk about a couple of different things. This game was special in a number of different reasons, and we as fans, we talk a lot about our expectations and the things that we want to see. Sometimes we bitch, sometimes we cry about some of the things that don't go our way. But I want to say this first and foremost, and I'll definitely let you guys expand on this a little bit here. A couple of things that I saw that were very, very special. Okay, and I want to just give some kudos to what I'm seeing as a fan, because this is a straight fan moment for me. Okay, I want to talk about the young man that wears number 7 for this Falcons team, man. Listen, when we drafted this young man, there were a lot of people saying that we didn't have the luxury of taking the quarterback when we did. Okay, I was one of those people that say, hey, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? We taking the the running back. We need so much stuff defensively. Why are we doing this? But little did I know that this kid was going to be something special. Let me tell you something, fellas. When I watched this game Sunday night, it sent chills down my spine, man. We already saw what this kid can do from the previous years, man. But watching this kid run and do what he does over and over and over again, I think we're seeing something very, very special that you don't see very often in the NFL out of a running back. I'm talking about Barry Sanders, LaDainian Tomlinson type of running back. Like, this kid is very, very special. Even some would say the best running back right now in the game, Saquon Barkley, has taken notice and watches Bijan and what he's able to do on the field. So I definitely want to say that first, man, and talk about him, and then I'll talk about somebody else that I want to give some kudos to as well. Pass it over to you here first, Banks. We were very apprehensive about us taking Bijan Robinson, but now looking at him now in the totality of it, man, this kid is very special.
If you know me, Derico and Leo, you know that I was the loudest one that was like, I don't agree with it when we drafted him. We had Tyler Algier, who's a 1,000-yard rusher at the time, and we had other glaring needs. Yes, I saw that what Bijan could do in Texas, and I saw he was okay. I didn't really like buy into it all the way. Just these 2 games that passed, just these two, I sat back and I witnessed his progression through the league. His third season from a rookie to now, big jump. He's special. He's beyond special. I got people at my job who are not Falcon fans. They're like, y'all got y'all one. Y'all got y'all one. I know we do. But it's like it's when people notice it, it's like they can't even hate on it. It's like, yeah, yeah, that he's that dude. He's it. What he put on that display on Minnesota's field had everyone talking. Had everyone talking.
Derek,
And it
man, I'm
wasn't,
gonna give
I'm sorry, it wasn't like he was busting 40 yards and 50 yards down the field. He was doing what he does, which was, jukes and cuts and making guys miss, multiple guys miss, like 2 or 3 guys at once. And I just wanted to basically keep throwing flowers at him because he deserves all of it.
Absolutely, man. And we might go a little bit over on this segment talking about the Falcons because there's a lot to kind of digest and talk about here when we watch this game. But Derek, I want to hand it over to you. Like I said, sometimes as fans, we get in these me moments and we get selfish and we think we know what's best and what we want. And like I said, we were all kind of, I want to say, apprehensive when we drafted Bijan because it was a luxury that we felt like we didn't need at the time. We needed so many other things. But like I said, like Banks just said, man, this kid is beyond special, man. We're witnessing something special with him. And, it's been a while since we've seen a running back on the Falcons do the thing. We've never seen really running back. No disrespect to any of the running backs we've had in this organization, but I think this is just something totally, this kid is totally different, man, right?
Hey, let the liquor tell it. Some of the other fans say we did have a running back like that and wore the same number, but we ain't going to say nothing about that because we know there's some bug. But we all had our apprehension about that. Like you said, Banks, like you said, Leo, we felt like, hey, it wasn't selfishness. It was like, hey, we felt like we're not at that level where we should be out there taking prize picks that not going to actually move the needle immediately as far as moving the team where it needs to go. Yes, he did what he needed to do the first 2 years. And like I said, Banks, you can just tell that this guy is something special. And lo and behold, I found out something that I didn't know, that he has the most 100-yard rushing since he got into the league. I did not know that until that graphic came up Sunday.
That's with 20, by the way, 20 of them.
And that put him above Saquon and above King Henry. So that's what we have, Atlanta. That's what we have. That guy can get them yards. Lord, I'm just waiting on him to take one to the house. Just one right now. I just need one.
The Derico,
I hope it starts Sunday.
If it happens, you want it to happen in Mercedes because if it happened, even that first touchdown he had week 1, I thought the roof was coming off. I mean, it was one of those explosion kind of plays. If he rips one for 60 plus from the line of scrimmage, that play's gonna go absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts.
Hey, man. Like I said, man, something very special, man. Like you said, man, he makes people miss in bunches. He has like awareness like LaDainian Tomlinson. He has moves like Barry Sanders. I mean, he has the wherewithal to get down and not take punishment like a Warwick Dunn. I mean, there's so many different attributes that this kid has, man. I just felt giddy, man, and just chills just watching him run the football, man, on Sunday night. It was crazy. All right, man, let's get into another. We got it. So listen, patience. Patience is something I don't have a lot of, right? And I think our fan base, just like me, does not have a lot of patience when it comes to certain things. But let me say this much, and I'm going to have to give some kudos and give some grace and some patience to, and that's a guy by the name of Terry Fontenot. Listen, fellas, we're going to talk about this here in just a second. We talked about drafts and making drafts count with the capital that we have, okay? I know we're 2 short games into the season. We're 1-1. But let me tell you something too. I don't know if it was the scouts, Terry, it's a collective, I guess, collective from all of them. But from what I saw, these rookies that we just drafted are not to be played with. Let me tell you something, man. I think it's been a long time since we've looked on the field and seen rookies, number one, not just performing, starting, but these dudes don't look like rookies. And I got to give some credit to Terry because we always talk about, hey, man, when we get people, especially when we draft them high, they got to perform. Everybody performed out of their damn mind on Sunday. Everybody performed out of their damn mind. You had 2 rookies in the secondaries. They got takeaways. You had 2 guys that were rushing the passer, going crazy out of their mind, both with, first sacks. I think Pierce had a half a sack or maybe a sack and a half. And then you also had Jalen Walker coming off a wide 9 edge and just coming in there and blowing stuff up, man. Derek O, giving this over to you, man. We got to sit back and say, hey, you know what, man? Terry cooked for real in this draft. I know it's early, but, man, listen, if these guys continue to do what they did these last 2 games, week in and week out, this defense is going to be a problem.
I'm not a I told you so kind of guy, but for all the pundits that had all the negative stuff to say about our draft, giving us a grade C, giving us a grade D, all I'm going to say is, once again, we do what we do in Atlanta because Atlanta influences everything. So what y'all going to start doing now is looking how we went about this draft and say, okay, like you said, we didn't have a lot of capital, but we made sure the capital that we used it for a purpose. And I said we had to have at least 3 starters out of that draft. 3, but we got 4. Well, I guess you could say 3.5 because, they bring 11 out every now and then. But what I'm saying is you got some bona fide talent, and all they're going to do is get better and better and better once they learn the difference between the college game and the NFL game and learn some different moves. So I am absolutely positively 100% on Terry Fontenot's rah-rah, rah-rah, rah-rah train.
Rah-rah train. Terry, man, that's what's up. Banks, man, your thoughts on this, man, and we'll actually get into the meat of what happened against the Vikings on Sunday night.
Listen, yes, the rookies, they came out there. It was what they call a coming out party. Yeah, they did just that. Want to give a special, I guess, a tip to the hat. It kind of seemed like they were rookies, but they were actually 2nd-year guys in Dorless and Ruka Rororo, who contribute. And we didn't see a lot of them last year. Thanks, Jimmy Lake. But they came out there. They were having fun, guys. They were out there laughing at the offensive linemen on the TV, and people heard it. They were like, "Wait, laughing at these guys, bro! Like they having fun, guys." And yes, the rookies, they are special. Well, I guess special is the wrong word, but they're doing what they're supposed to do. You got a guy in James Pierce Jr., and they're talking now to the point where it's like now he's a rookie, yes, but it's to the point now, but what he did game 1 till this last game, you can't afford to keep him off the field now. Like, he's doing that much, and he's doing that much for other guys to eat. He's putting pressure. He's getting in the backfield. Every time I look up, there's 27. There he is. There he is. Up there he is. There he is. Other guys are eating because they're putting too much attention on him now. I love it. We're going to see number 11. We're going to see number 37. Listen, I was a big, huge fan of Watts. Didn't really zero in on Billy Bowman, but now I'm a Billy Bowman fan. Kill Bill. That's his nickname. And I'm like, you know what? It fits. It's a heat-seeking missile. Wherever that ball is, he's gonna be there, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
Which you just reminded me, Banks. Somebody else I want to give a good shout out to here in just a second, and I'll do that after we talk about the nuts and bolts of the game before we wrap this up. Listen, Falcons go up to Minnesota, win 22-6. It was not pretty, but listen, let me tell you something, man. there's no such thing as an ugly win, in my opinion. Look, we won 22-6, man. Partially off of the foot of a young man by the name of Parker Romo. He ended up kicking 5 field goals for us. Banks has already told us that he has the Penske truck already rented for somebody else to help them pack and get out of town. But we'll talk about that here in just a minute. The rookies came up big, like we just talked about here. Defensively, man, I don't think that we could have played a better game, man. I mean, this was awesome, and it was called even better. And I'll talk about that here in just a second. But I want to get you guys' take on just everything. Listen, fellas, there was a lot of people, let's be real, a lot of people that were still unhappy that we were not able to score in the red zone, that we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that. Well, Penix wasn't able to throw a lot and all this blah, 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 blah. Listen, there was a win. Derrico, we won. Sometimes I guess it's the truth. You can't make people happy. Unfortunately, man, in NFL, we don't play the Georgia School of the Deaf and Blind every Sunday. In NFL, everybody's in the NFL for a reason, man. These teams are all going to be tough, ladies and gentlemen. They're not going to be blowouts. The blowouts in the NFL are rarity. Even though you had a bunch of high-scoring games on this past Sunday, which they alluded to before the Vikings-Falcons game, listen, we end up having to take it to the wire. We saw some wire games on Monday night. A win is a win is a win. That's what my coach used to say, Derrico, man. How do you feel coming out with that victory against the Vikings up there in Minnesota? In a hostile environment, too, by the way.
Well, y'all know how transparent I am. So if I look down the list, I had already put an asterisk on the L by that game, just for the simple fact of the environment, the history there that we played and haven't fared well in Minnesota. But I knew one thing had to happen. They had to treat McCaffrey like a first-time quarterback, which he was, and that's exactly what they did. A shout out to Jeff Albrecht. One thing I noted when AJ went down in the first half, they did not change the philosophy and they not miss a beat. They did whatever they needed to do the same way, just plugged and played the next person, and it was seamless. So, hey, that's what I'm talking about, and that's what we need. And as far as these old fickle fans that can't take a victory without being pessimistic, the problem is you, not what you're talking about. What you need to do is what most of us do, is enjoy the victory, because we don't get many of those, especially on the road. In the NFL, it is tough to win on the road, people. So stop being that guy or that gal and saying, oh, we didn't do this, we didn't do that. Well, that's why we got how many more of these? We got 15 more of these. So if you can't be patient, like my boy Leo say, well, you better get some, because you still messing around with my boys, the what they call them over there, the water boys, them blood pressure
birds.
So you better understand and know that that's how it's gonna be.
Exactly, man. Banks, I'm gonna give it over to you here. Like I can't reiterate that enough, and I think y'all have heard me say that and beat that drum. Listen, this is gonna be tough. If you're not built for it, listen. If you're a Falcons fan and you are over a certain age, if you ain't built for this by now, then just go and find you another damn team, okay? Go, leave. We don't need you, man. This team, listen, we're going to fight. Look, we talked about what Kirby has done at Georgia. I think that hopefully Raheem has changed his culture, and we'll start to look at the Falcons in a different way. But listen, I told y'all, man, what I say, you ain't going to be able to get up and leave in the third quarter and make your way out the exit. You ain't going to be able to say, oh, well, let me go ahead and shut it down for the night. No, these Falcons, they're going to take you all the way. But like I said, we got to enjoy these victories that we get. And we cannot find something negative out of everything. A win is a win is a win. Banks, I'm going to pass it over to you here, man. 22-6 up in Minnesota.
Listen, I understand a lot of fans wanted to, ask questions of why, we get in the red zone and we nut up, Sometimes, I rewatched the whole entire game. Sometimes whatever's working, you just stick with it. At one point I was kind of that fan too. Like, why are we not doing play action? It's 2nd and 2. It's perfect for a play action pass, and you still got 2 yards if you don't get it. I understand that. But Bijan was running at 6.2 yards a pop. They wasn't stopping it. I would have been more upset if you stopped it in the second half, and you wanted to prove that you can throw and be Michael Penix can throw, and then he throw a game changing interception, and then all of a sudden, first thing everybody's gonna say, why did we stop running? Listen, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I get it. Folks want style. They want to see some highlights on Sports Center. I get it. I totally get it. The score should have been more than 22-6. Okay, fine. But you know what? At the end of the day, like you guys said, it's a win. They did something that Falcons rarely do, and that was a victory formation. They got in victory formation. Like, they took a knee. Like, I told somebody, everybody take your phones out. Let's take a picture of this, because, these blood pressure birds, these games, more than not, going to be close, and it's going to come down to the last possession. Okay? Take it in. I don't care how it is. We're in victory formation. Okay, to hell with your you want to blow the scoreboard up. I don't care about that. I just want the W. And at the end of the day, those people in Minnesota, after their little skull chant,
Right.
they walked out of that stadium with their tails between their legs, and they were like, "How embarrassing!" So
I want to put one point in there too, Banks, about inside the red zone penalties. So sometimes
drive killer.
Sometimes it ain't the OC.
Yeah, drive
it's
killer.
The players. Execution.
Drive killer.
You cannot continue to have pre-snap penalties or anything like that, or holding down inside the red zone and expect to get bailed out.
That's a good point, Derek Cole. That's a great point.
Listen, Derek Cole, I agree with you wholeheartedly about that, man. Those things, and listen, the beauty of it is those things can be cleaned up. And I'm pretty sure that they're watching the film right now and they're working, getting ready for Sunday against Carolina. Listen, let me tell you guys something here. Turnover margin, we won that. Sack margin, we won that. Time of possession, we won that. Total offense, we won that. Everything that you could win in a football game, we did on Sunday, okay? We won. People, we won. Let's get off of this thing about, it should have been 50-0, all this crap. We won. Listen, another shot, 2 more shots out, man. We'll close this thing on out, because I know Banks is itching to talk about this here, man. Parker Romo, hometown kid, man. They call him on the phone. They bring him in, and, they decided to pull the trigger and go with him and take him up to Minnesota. 5 field goals made. The bulk of the points, man. This dude stared down the barrel and got an opportunity and got it done. We're going to talk about that clown that they called, that used to play for Carolina, that decided he wanted to take his behind out there to San Francisco. That's a whole nother conversation, but I felt that was very, very funny. But look, I got to give a shout out to Parker Romo, man. I think that the Falcons have, if I'm not mistaken, I think that they've decided what they're going to do. And I want to say this, man, if it's the end for Cool, hey, man, Cool did some great things here, man. But this is the NFL. Sometimes, hey, man, if the needle isn't moving, man, you got to go another way, man. This is a business. I don't think it's anything personal, and I think Cool understands that. But Parker Romo, man, I think we found a killer at the kicking position with him. And also, I want to come back and reiterate that I wanted to give some flowers to Jeff Ulbrich in calling such a beautiful game and a masterful game and doing what they did, man, to shake up. This is a rookie quarterback, essentially his second game. And you went out there, you showed him some looks, and you did some things, was able to, throw him off. Because let's be real, man, Minnesota's, they're dangerous. They still got one of the best receivers in the league. They were dangerous. This could have easily, they were a couple of plays away from, really kind of evening this game up, So just give a shout out to Ulbrich and the defense, man, for doing what they did, man, and staying relentless, staying on it, man, and doing what they did, man. Banks, your thoughts on Parker Romo here as we look at the hopefully the Parker Romo era here in Atlanta, and him just, coming through in the clutch for us. And we haven't seen that here lately.
Parker Romo went 5 for 5. When he first kicked the first field goal, I kind of held my breath because it didn't look like it was good. I thought he shanked it. I was like, oh, it didn't look good. And then they actually blew the horn in that stadium, and folks cheered, and I thought he missed it. But then I saw the referee say it was good. I'm like, man, if you watch the replay, it barely hit that corner. And then the next 4 was good, like right down the middle. Now that last one was, I think, was 56 yards, I want to say. when he hit that one, I knew I was okay, cool. It's been real. I really feel like whatever you done for the organization, you came in, and you did, you did your thing. We enjoyed calling out your name when you lined up. You was automatic at one point, automatic, and some stuff happens. I don't know what got in your head. I mean, your cleats. I don't know. I don't know. But we want to thank you, for the Falcon fans all around. Thank you, and whatever your journeys will take you, we hope it's the best. But Parker Romo is the man now, and hopefully he can keep it up. I mean, 5 for 5.
Derek Cole.
That's a start.
Derek Cole.
What up?
Derek Cole, over to you. I'm having a little technical difficulties here, but we're gonna keep pressing here. We'll wrap this up in a minute. Your thoughts on Parker Romo and being obviously the next kicker of the Atlanta Falcons. I think it's safe to say I'm 90% sure at this point that moving forward that this is who we're gonna go with.
Oh, I'm 99.1% sure that's where we're going. I mean, I had a text conversation with somebody today saying, I guess we just being petty because we like to keep people on the field that have guaranteed monies on their contracts. So I guess he's being the same way with Cool, gonna keep him out there to probably Friday and then let him go on Saturday. But that's a valuable spot that we need. So somebody got to go. Thank you, Cool. We appreciate you. You went to Georgia Southern, where one of my daughters go to. You always go back and support them. So I don't know what, like Banks said, what your next thing is, but we wish you well, and you did wonderful when you had the opportunity. And for the last time, cool.
And that's what's up, man. Parker Romo, man, definitely, man. We look forward to seeing what you can do here, man, and getting us through, man. All right, on the Carolina fellas, we'll come back next week, and hopefully we'll talk and have the same conversation about a dominant Falcons win. Fellas, it's been real, man. We're going to wrap this thing on up. Banks, man, I'm going to pass it on over to you, man. Let everybody know where they can find you, brother. Let everybody know where they can find you.
You can find me at Antoine Jarrell Banks on Facebook, or Baby Banks 80 on Instagram, or Section 122 at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Giving a shout out once again to the Atlanta Dream tonight. Go ahead and close them girls out. Let's get ready for them for that next round.
Absolutely. Dream, please put them hands on the fever. Thank you. Don't play around tonight. You can find me on Facebook at Stacey D. Derrick Cole. You can find me on Snapchat at DJ KRO6. You can find me on the gram at Derrick_Virgo. And you can find me on TikTok at Black_Virgo. And you can find me hopefully this Sunday up there in Charlotte, North Carolina.
All right, man. You can definitely find us on all our social media platforms. It's ATL 3 Style as always. Man, we look forward to doing this, man, and we look forward to coming back here next week, man, and speak of victory. Like I said, shout out to the Dream, man. Hopefully they can do it to push through to the next round of the playoffs. Watch that first game on Sunday. It was quite special. So, man, shout out to them. So listen, fellas, I don't know. Well, like Derrick said, he's gonna be up there in Kakalaki, man. Hopefully, we'll go ahead and we gotta pull this thing out. We gotta do it, man. We can't go down 0-2 in the division, obviously, man. So go ahead and put them paws on them damn Panthers, man, and see this through, man. And hopefully, we'll have some more things, good and positive things to talk about. Because a win is a win is a win, man. This has been another edition of the ATL 3 Style Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back.